And when we look at this yellow look, ugh, I mean, like I said, she's stunning, but it's really not doing anything for her. This is not this is not what we're going for. It is way too warm for her. It's also too light. Guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Simone Monet, and this is Halo Image and Energy Consulting, where we talk all things fashion, style, and the deep inner work that it takes to become your most authentic and magnetic self. If you want to learn how to use what you got to get what you want, then just keep watching. Today, we're going to be talking all about a huge component of image consulting and personal styling, and that's color analysis. I feel like there's been so many new videos cropping up about color analysis recently, and as your resident image consultant, I feel like it's my true duty to give you my 2 cents and let you know what all is happening in the realm of color analysis. But before we get started, be sure to like and subscribe so that other people can find this amazing content. And be sure to check out the links down in the description box below. We've got some free downloadable self-study worksheets down there, as well as a link to where you can find me so that we can get started on our own color analysis together as well. All right, so let's dive into the basics of color analysis. I mean, what even is it? I feel like people kind of know about this, but not really. Like, you've probably heard of, like, oh, I'm a summer, I'm a winter, like I'm an autumn. But what does that really even mean? So let's talk about it. Color analysis is essentially using different colors to put them against your face and see how your skin, your eyes, your lips, your cheeks react to the different colors and how the light is bouncing off of that color and how it's reacting to your skin. And what we're looking for when we use those different colors against your skin is we're looking to see what makes your features sparkle, what makes your skin shine and look healthy and radiant, what makes you stand out as opposed to like a color just wearing you. What we can also see when we're doing a color analysis is that certain colors may make us look washed out, they make us look faded, they may blend our features together, and so they're not crisp, they're not standing out on their own. I've noticed a lot too, different colors can affect your discoloration. And of course, when we do the color analysis, we do it with no makeup. We cover up your body and your hair in a true white so that we kind of make sure that we're isolating your features, isolating your skin and your face. And so when we do that, I've definitely noticed so many times like the blemishes and discoloration can be brought out when certain colors are placed against your skin. Your lips can look more dull and lifeless when certain colors are placed up against your skin. And so we're essentially making these comparisons, trying to figure out what your palette is, whether that's a winter, a summer, an autumn, or a spring. And within those 4 seasons, there's actually 3 sub-seasons. But honestly, I find out for beginnings, beginnings for beginners, those seasons within the seasons can be a little bit confusing. For the purposes of today's introductory video, let's just stick with the 4 main seasons. Again, winter, summer, autumn, and spring. And to just give you guys a little bit of a better idea about what the color analysis components may look like, I have my color analysis drapes here. These are just, little flags that have different colors in different seasons, warm versus cool, intense saturated color versus more muted colors. I got these from a place called Outfit Curator. Shout out to them. They're awesome. And so we essentially just use these, drape them under the client and see how the light reacts with your skin, how the color brings out certain things, whether it's your eye bags or the pink in your cheeks. So these are just one of the many tools that image consultants and stylists can use to find your true season. There are also like multicolored flag. There's like these face card things that we put around your face. I don't really like using either of those things. I really do prefer just a full-on drape situation. I think it's the easiest for both me and the client to help see those differences pop out when we switch out the colors. And remember, it really can take some time to become used to spotting these differences in your face and in your skin when you're switching out the colors and when you're participating in an analysis. So, of course, like be sure to work with a reputable stylist or color analysis expert so that they can help you to see those changes as you're swapping out the colors. But honestly, once you get used to looking for those differences, you're gonna be honestly so blown away with the differences in your skin and in the way your eyes sparkle and your smile lights up when you're wearing the right color. It's truly like spectacular. And you're gonna realize when you're actually wearing your colors, like, wow, like I feel brighter. People are reacting to me differently out on the streets. People are complimenting me in this color. Like there are certain colors that I wear that I'm guaranteed to get people like checking out that piece of clothing or saying, "Oh my gosh, that color looks so good on you." Like it's so works so well with your skin. So I just want you guys to find those colors too, because I know when I'm wearing certain things, like it just really changes my whole mood and my whole outlook, and I want that for you guys too. So let's dive a little bit into each of the four seasons so I can give you guys some background and so you can maybe take a guess to maybe figure out what season you might be and what your color palette might be. So let's start with winter. Winter is the coolest tone out of all the four seasons. It is crisp, it's bold, it's more deep colors. Um, the cool palette has a lot of jewel tones, deep blues, emerald greens, royal purples. The white in this palette is very crisp and cool. Think like a frosty layer of snow in the dead of winter. You won't find any warm toned colors in here. So the warm tones have like a peachy or red undertone, and the cool tone colors have a blue or pink based undertone. So winter is definitely those deep, bold, cool colors. And the people that are within the winter season, they generally have a high contrast between their hair, their skin, and their eyes. So think like an Anne Hathaway or a Lucy Liu, like that very fair skin and deep, highly saturated hair and eyes. So when you have these highly contrasting features, you can take on those bold colors, and it actually harmonizes very well with your look altogether instead of overpowering you. People in this palette tend to look best in deep, rich colors with that cool undertone that we talked about. And when you think of the winter palette, tend to think of the words bold and deep and crisp. That may help you out a little bit. Now let's move on to the summer palette. The summer palette is also, contrary to like what you might assume, the summer palette is also a cool toned palette, similar to winter. It has those blue and um, pink based undertones that are cool, but the colors within the summer palette are not as dark and they're not as saturated. So they're a little more muted, a little more light, and the people that fall within the summer season, they do not have that same bold contrast between skin and hair like a Lucy Liu or an Anne Hathaway would have. People in the summer palette have features that are a little more like within the same range of each other. So like a lighter tan skin and a lighter brown hair and some hazel eyes or honey eyes or something like that. People in this summer category also have like cool undertone skin. So even though they can have like brown or blonde hair, it's not warm toned. It's going to be ashier, more gray undertones in with for the people in this palette. The people in this palette, their features are going to be a little more muted. The coloring is generally just less saturated as well. So that being said, the colors that you would wear on your body, you want them to harmonize with that. So you're not going to put some crazy bold color on someone that's muted because it's just going to overpower them. So the colors in the summer palette, again, are going to be cool but light. This color palette is going to have cool toned blues, baby pinks, cool tone greens, and grays. Think like summer rain. Like it's the clouds are gray, but there's like blues and it's lighter, it's more muted. Um, yeah, that's the summer palette. Now let's move on to winter. In contrast with the summer palette, or sorry, let's move on to autumn. In contrast with the summer palette, autumn is going to be warm instead of cool. And I think this is most easy for us to recognize as, everyday people. We know when we think of fall and autumn, we think warm, crunchy leaves, oranges, golden browns, like earthy greens. It's more of a rich color palette. But it's instead of being highly saturated like winter, the contrast and the intensity of the colors is a little more muted and toned down while also being warm at the same time, if that makes any sense. Just think about how, a green fresh leaf on a tree is highly saturated, it's bright, it's fresh. But when you think of an autumn leaf, the color and the robustness has been drained out of it. So it's a little more muted. And now it has that brown, golden, orange, rusty red thing going on. It's very cozy, it's earthy. And the people that are within this palette generally kind of go along with that. Like redheads are typically in this palette. People in this palette have a lot of warmth to their skin undertones. You're gonna have that yellow undertone going, very golden honey vibes. Um, you can have golden brown hair. You can have some warm hazel eyes, some warm brown eyes, honey, maybe a warm blue or a warm green as well. But you're generally just more warm and cozy. Your features are going to blend together a little bit more as well because you don't have that stark contrast between them like you would in a winter palette. Um, so yeah, just think like warm and cozy when you're thinking about winter. And those colors that are a little more muted are going to be very harmonious with the way your coloring is set up between your hair, your skin, and your eyes. And lastly, we have our last season, which is spring. This is going to be our warm and bright and highly saturated season. Think very tropical, warm bananas, warm turquoise, turquoises. God, can I speak? Turquoises, like warm, bright greens. People in this palette can generally handle brighter colors. The colors in this palette are also going to be generally lighter, but also more saturated. In comparison to the winter, the winter palette is deep and dark but saturated, and spring, true spring, is lightly colored in hue but more saturated, brighter, fresher. Think, tropical vacation. People within this palette have a medium contrast between their hair, skin, and eyes. Think like an amber heard. You've got that warm golden undertone going, but fair skin, light hair, light eyes. Like that's where we're going with this. And someone like her can handle that bright color palette. So yeah, when you think of spring palette, you can think of that fresh and golden and lightly colored warm undertone vibe that spring has going on. So, based off of those four descriptions, like where do you think you fall on that spectrum? I know when you're first hearing about this, it can honestly be kind of confusing. But let me know in the comments, what season do you think you are and why? And I actually really wanted to point out that while this color typing system can be helpful and informative, it actually was not designed with black and brown people in mind and all the wonderful things that our different shades of skin can do. So very important for my people of color out there to definitely find a professional to work with when you're looking for your color analysis, because the way that the color typing system words things and the way the language is, it can be very confusing when you start to think about what a deep skin tone is when a person is writing for white people versus what a deep skin tone is when you're actually factoring in like the spectrum of black and brown people. It kind of reminds me of like that saying when people are like, oh, he's tall, dark, and handsome. And like what they mean is he has brown hair and brown eyes and like maybe he's mysterious. They don't mean that he has like dark skin, which is like very confusing wording. So that's kind of what the wording in the color typing system reminds me of. It's just like it makes no sense in the context of like my life and people that look like me. So just wanted to give that caveat. Be careful if you're trying to type yourself. Definitely recommended to just work with a professional. And in part two of this color analysis video series, I'm definitely going to dive more into like undertones, hue, chroma, intensity, and what a color analysis session with me would actually look like and how I help my clients through this. So be sure to look out for that video coming up next. So yeah, with all that being said, I also just wanted to walk through a couple of examples of comparison of what it looks like when you're in your colors versus when you're not in your colors. We're gonna take Lucy Liu as another example. I think she's just such a good example of what a true winter looks like. So we're just gonna walk through a couple of her photos. And so as you can see here in this purple dress that she's wearing, I mean, she's in one of her true colors, that royal purple. She's got some emerald green accessories happening, which is another color in the winter palette. And she's just shining bright. Her features are crisp, they're defined. She looks icy and cool and robust and like bold in her colors. Her hair is shiny, her skin is clear, beautiful. But when you compare it to this cream look she has, I mean, this white is just too warm for her. It has golden undertones. It's kind of just like washing her out. Her features are kind of blending together. She's getting lost in this cream look. And so it's just really, it's not crisp enough for her. It's not cool enough for her. And so it's not doing her justice. I mean, she's literally so gorgeous, stunning, beautiful, amazing, like revolutionary, but it's not making her stand out. She's getting washed away. And then when we look at this yellow look, I mean, like I said, she's stunning, but it's really not doing anything for her. This is not this is not what we're going for. It is way too warm for her. It's also too light. Like I said, people in the winter palette, they can really take on those bold colors because their skin and their hair has so much contrast. But yeah, her angular, beautiful features that are a huge staple of her look are getting just muddled together. She's getting lost in the yellow. She's getting lost in the red, the warm redness of the carpet as well. So yeah, it's just really not for her, this warm yellow. Back to the purple, looking amazing, looking sharp, crisp, standing out, just gorgeous, wonderful. So I just wanted to provide those examples of what it can look like when you're in your colors versus not in your colors. So yeah, guys, look out for part two. We're gonna go in depth even more on this. Definitely share this video with your girlfriends. You can chit chat about what you guys think your different seasons are. Like that's something I like to do with my girls. It's kind of fun. So yeah, share this video with them, like and subscribe, of course, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.